Good morning, YouTube. Hello, everybody. This is Hero77, along with Sagittarically Speaking, and we are up and ready, and anything goes here this morning on Good Morning Monday Morning Coffee Talk. How did you like that intro, Saggy?
Yeah, I'm just glad my volume wasn't all the way up.
Tell me about it. So, what's going on, man? We had a good night last night. It seems like with Shifty Sunday, had a pretty good audience there.
Yes, we did. I think last time I checked, we had around 80, almost 80 views.
Well, I'll tell you, man, that's pretty good, dude. You know, you were talking about the ins and outs of comic books. We were talking about ways that comic books, how they get people to buy their comic books. And I was talking about the death of Superman. You're like, that's a misleading title, actually. Remember when
Yeah, I was like, someone's going to see that title and they're going to be, oh, man, Superman dies. I got to get that one. And I remember when the movie came out, my oldest daughter, is a big Superman fanatic. She actually has like a Superman poster. You know, she's still in high school, and she has one of the larger Superman dolls, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know what you would call it, but it's, I don't know, about 3 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall, and it's got the cape and the arms and the legs move and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, the Death of Superman, the movie, comes out, right? And she actually cries during the movie when she thinks he's dead.
The Death of Superman, the movie?
Yeah, the one with him and Batman.
There was no Death of Superman, the movie.
Well, maybe it's the cartoon. I don't know. Anyway, she's just crying about the...
Wait a second. Now, there was Batman versus Superman.
That's the one. Doesn't he die in there for like a half a second?
Oh, yeah, he dies for the movie, yeah. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Well, no, there's a Superman movie, where you think Superman is dead for a little while. Not that one, but before that one. Like the one that just came out in the early 2000s, where Superman is under the rubble and everybody in New York thinks he's dead. I know I'm not just making this up. I have a distinct memory of this.
This must be a Mandela, because I remember there being a cartoon.
Maybe it was a cartoon. All I know is the movie. We're watching it on TV. I'm watching it with her. It looks like Superman just died. And I look over at her, and I see a little tear going down her cheek. Well, that's how much she cares about Superman.
Well, that's cool. Well, I mean, it's not cool that she cried and whatnot. That, but I'm just saying, it's cool to be a Superman fan. Now, here I have, this is not the original. I have the original up at my grandparents' house, but this I have, The Death of Superman. This is the graphic novel that came out. Let's see, when did this come out? Because this is a reprint. But you can see this is on the front, The Death of Superman. It's kind of glary, and I do apologize for that. But then you look on the back, and you see the actual, what was on either another comic book or it was on the inside of the comic book, if I recall correctly.
Right.
So I do remember that one. And I actually have also up at my grandparents' house, I have the where he came back from the dead.
Okay. Was there ever like a zombified Superman, like where he's kind of zombie-ish?
I don't. There was several. The time when he was dead, there were several different versions of Superman. There might have been a zombie version of that. Not that I can recall, but there was a cyborg. There was a cyborg Superman.
Okay, and I remember Bizarro, wasn't that his name or something like that?
There was Bizarro. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was way before the death of Superman, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, when did the comic The Death of Superman come out? Was it in the 90s?
Yeah, that would have been mid '90s, I think.
Okay. And comic book sales were kind of sluggish, and that's why they decided to do all that?
Yeah, DC Comics, the DC Comics, the Superman comics were down into the toilet at the time. I think Batman had been popular, with the movies and stuff, and there was sort of a resurge of Batman comics. And at the same time, Batman and the Batman comics, Bane had broken Batman's back, and so at the time, DC Comics, they were getting kind of really desperate to sell comic books. So you have a new Batman, which was Gene Paul at the time, and you have the new Superman, which went through several different variations. You had the cyborg Superman, you had Superboy, you had Henry Steele, which was later made into a movie, John Henry Steele with Shaquille O'Neal, which was a horrible movie, by the way.
Right. They usually screw those things up. They want to put well-known name people in them that don't really fit the role. And like Shaquille O'Neal, I mean, yeah, he's cool and everything as an athlete, but he's really not the ideal person for a movie.
But let's see. There was Superboy. I mentioned that, and I think there was one more variation of Superman before he actually came back, and I can't remember quite what that was. But if you follow along with the series, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. See, I didn't. I mean, I might have had a Batman. I had comic books when I was younger too. I don't really recall having a lot of Batman ones. The thing I was really the most into was Spider-Man, the Green Lantern, and the Silver Surfer. Those and Iron Man. I really like me some Iron Man comics too. But mostly Spider-Man and Green Lantern were probably the ones I had the most of.
You were into a lot of Marvel comic books, in other words.
Yeah, and back then, I didn't really pay that much attention to DC versus Marvel, probably like I would have had I realized that there was such a significant difference. Because I was just a little 9, 10-year-old kid who just thought, those guys were cool. I didn't understand the politics of comic books back then.
The Nayakis is in the room, by the way. I think I'm saying that name correctly. Nayakis?
I think you are, yeah. But as I got older, I realized that there's a big, you it's kind of like Ford and Chevy of comic books. You're either diehard Ford or diehard Chevy.
Yeah, they used to call Ford found on the road dead, and then if you were for Ford, you called it fast on race day.
Yeah. Did they ever have one for Chevy? I don't even know.
I don't really recall because you couldn't really use like the Chevy drove it to the levee, but the levee was dry. I'm not. Now, I don't really know. But also we have Chaos Reality is here too, by the way.
Okay. I'm trying to recall. Does Chaos spell their name CHAOS or KAOS?
Well, Chaos, I think he spells his name CHAOS.
Okay.
I just assume it's a guy. I don't know. Do you know or not if it's a
No, I am not up on
he's a
all that. I don't. I really. I just assume it's a guy as well. I guess that's wrong of me, just based off the name to assume a gender. But yeah, I do that.
but his avatar always reminds me of Thing. Remember Thing from the Adams Family?
His avatar reminds you of what?
Thing?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Adams Family, you know, the hand,
yep.
you know.
I always wondered where the hand went. Like, where was it coming from? Because
I
you can
don't
never. You're always coming up out of something, you know.
I always thought it just lived in that box, whatever box they had it in.
Okay.
But you know, we were talking about the Joker, the new Joker movie coming out last night. We were talking about that, and I
Yeah, I'm really. It really kind of got me thinking last night when once I started looking into it and I saw those reports and I started researching it a little bit and getting into the whole symbology of everything related to it. This is like if there was ever an opportunity for them to have some type of major event surrounding a movie where it serves some type of political or new world order agenda. This is going to be the one. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out this coming week. What kind of controversy gets stirred up?
it may, and it may not. It may just turn out to be nothing.
Yeah, you're right. But if I was a betting man, I'm not, by the way. But if I was, I would bet on it. I would bet that there was some type of incident's going to happen. I'm not saying necessarily a major shooting or anything. I'm just saying there's probably going to be something. Mark my words. We'll revisit next week and on Shifty Sunday, and we'll see. And I hope I'm wrong. I really don't want to be right.
Well, no.
I but I just have a feeling that they're going to somehow this is going to serve somebody's purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and well, the reason actually why I brought up the Joker thing we talked about last night, because I brought up two books. I brought up three books, but I think people only heard me bringing up two books. And the two books that people ought to really read before they go in to see the Joker movie, there's two books. There's Death in the Family. Okay, that's one of them. And
You
there's
mean to get up on their Joker backstory is what you're saying?
right.
Okay.
They need to watch, or they need to read Death in the Family and read The Killing Joke. Don't watch that movie, The Killing Joke, because it's got two parts and it's just going to make you really confused. Watch If you're going to watch the movie Killing Joke, watch the second part, because that really goes into the comic book. But if
Okay.
you really want to get into the Joker's history and his backstory, read The Killing Joke. It's a really good one. And there's another one.
Now, is this like a graphic novel or is it just a standard comic book? I mean,
It's a graphic
what?
novel. Both books that I mentioned are graphic novels.
Okay.
And the next book I want to mention is The Man Who Laughs. And I'm going to show that on the screen.
Oh, no, you're not talking about me. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm going to show that on the screen right now. Let's see. There's a little
All
bit
right.
of glare there, as you can see.
Oh, wow.
But there's a lot of glare in there.
Yeah, it was working there for a second. You
Let
might want
me.
to make me small and you big so it shows up better.
Oh yeah, let's do that. I forgot about that business. There we go. Let's see. Still quite a bit of glare.
Kind of turn it either left or right.
Well, hang on. Let me do this. Let me open the front page to The Man Who Laughs. And that's
There
basically
you go.
what you're going to get.
All right.
You can get this in any Barnes and Noble or any comic book store. I got all of my stuff at Barnes and Noble. And if you don't have a Barnes and Noble, you can get it basically, like I said, in any comic book store. You can get it at. Have you ever heard of Books a Million?
Yes, I have heard of it.
Get that
I don't really buy a lot of books lately because I do most of my reading. I listen. I do audio books more than I actual read with my eyes, simply because I have my right eye is really bad, and when I try to read, it really puts a lot of strain on my eyes. Not that I'm an old man, I just have bad vision.
And for anybody who wants to get started on Batman and wants to start from the very beginning, here's one that I highly recommend. It's called Batman Chronicles.
All
And
right.
I've got volume 1 here, and there's 2 volumes. There's volume
Well,
1.
I mean, I can't run out and buy all these books. How about you just read them to me?
Well, no, it would take a while for me to read them. What
Okay.
they are is they're a collection of comic books going all the way back from the very first Batman in 1939.
Yeah, that looks like your Adam West Batman right there, kind of.
Well, yeah, kind of. And as you could see,
Would you acknowledge that Batman has kind of gotten more darker and grimace over the years as he's progressed? Like the way the direction the series has went. I mean, like if you go back and look at the one you were just showing, he was still kind of colorful and he was still dark in his personality, but the way that they drew him and depicted him wasn't so dark and grim. And I just noticed even the movies themselves. I mean, if you look at like some of the older ones where like like where George Clooney was playing Batman, and then such and such and such were playing. Each one, the character just got the depiction of the character just progressively got a little bit darker and more sinister. Would you agree with that comment, or what's your take on that?
I would disagree with that, actually, because here's the reason why I disagree. Because the very first, since 1939, Bob Kane intended for the Batman to be very dark and gritty to begin with. And if you go back, yeah, these are colorful looking, like the pictures are, but the story is very dark and gritty. And if you read the story, especially year 1, going back to the very beginning, they actually had it to where they deputized Batman, and in the very beginning, he carried a gun at one point and was actually shooting people.
Okay.
But that they scratched that idea at the very beginning. Here's a picture of. See, he was always supposed to be known as the Dark Knight. He was always supposed to be the dark superhero. I mean,
right.
The only time. The 1960s, when they came out in the 1960s, the Batman comics were dropping to an all-time low, and that's because people were tired of the violence and gore and stuff like that. And then plus,
and they really weren't putting like a lot of like character development into, like, as far as like really like getting deep into their psyche and the reason why they do what they do and all that. That kind of is when they started doing that, right?
What you have to realize is the reason why. There's 2 reasons why they lightened it up. Number one, starting in 1959, 1960, the rating system came into play in the comic books. You got to remember, when comic books first came out, there was murder, there was blood, there was mayhem, there was gore, and even some slight nudity. But then when the rating system came out in the late 50s, early 60s,
and the rating system, you mean they actually were starting to put pressure on them to clean up their act, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then of course you had the Vietnam War, and during the the break of the Vietnam War, the comic book sales plummeted because people weren't reading. They weren't picking up and reading. They didn't want to hear or pick up and read graphic violence and all this other stuff either.
Okay.
So
they had to go focus more on the story and less on just glorifying violence.
right. So by the 1960s, they made it lighter and campier because
And
they
that's
thought,
where like you get your Archie comics and things like that, right?
well, because they wanted to gear it more towards children because
Right. Okay.
by this time, like I said, the rating system had kicked in, and it was during the Vietnam War, and people were getting they weren't tuning in every week to see Batman beat the bloody Pope out of some unknown villain. And
Okay, I
the,
see.
the 1960s, by the time the Adam West series came out, it was all campy and toned down, and the colors were all wild, and the bam, pow, kaboom, all that stuff.
Yeah, and pardon my ignorance, because I mean, I know this a little bit, but I'm not really an expert on the subject. So I would assume that those pre 1960 comics are like the super uber collector's items, the ones that are hardest to find.
Oh, sure. Did you know also when Bob Kane invented Batman, and excuse me, Bill Finger, it was Bob Kane and Bill Finger. They were co-creators of Batman. When they first invented Batman, the idea came from three different sources, and I'll name the first one is obvious. The Mask of I almost said Zero. The Mark of Zorro.
And then Robin's kind of like Tonto. Yeah, I can see that.
And the Shadow, that was the main inspiration, was the Shadow.
All right.
And Sherlock Holmes was another inspiration for Batman.
Yeah, because they're solving crimes a lot of times, and Robin's kind of Watson-esque. Yeah, I can see that. Robin half the time is the one who really solves the crime, and Batman gets all the credit.
Well, here's the thing about that too. Also, is like Robin didn't come along until let's see, Batman started out in 1939, and Robin didn't come along until about 3 years later.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He didn't come along until 38 issues later.
Oh, now was he just added in, or did they know they were eventually going to add him in the whole time? They just waited to do so.
Well, how he came along is the writers were trying to come up with a way, because Batman was always kind of thinking to himself, like in his head, like thought bubbles and stuff. And they had to have a way to explain to the audience Batman's thought process. And they thought, we got to have somebody working with him so he's not constantly working by himself, because all they had him was his thought bubbles and him talking to himself and stuff. And they thought, well, now this is getting kind of boring. Let's give Batman a partner, a
sidekick. Yeah.
So that's actually how that all got started.
I would say Robin's probably the most well-known sidekick of all the sidekicks at this time. Wouldn't you kind of agree with that?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think just right off the top of my head other sidekicks that are kind of
picture,
even in the running. And nobody's coming up.
There's the very first appearance of Robin.
Okay.
Comic books, and let's see. Detective comic. Where did I get that number at? Oh, yeah. I forget which. See?
Number 2. I like how it says Detective Comics, too.
Yeah. That's another not so known fact, is that it started out, it wasn't Detective Comics at first. It was what's it called? Hold on, let me turn my camera off. You know, it was Detective Comics, and then it was Action Comics. Action Comics was the very first title for DC Comics before Batman came along.
So he even changed the whole name of the comic book,
Pretty
like
much.
the whole the brand or whatever.
Yeah, and Superman was not the very first superhero for Action Comics. There was a superhero that came before Superman, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But I just, I'm just here to
Well,
talk.
now I want to know at least what his name was. What was his name?
I'm not really even too sure what it was.
Oh, okay.
Power Man or something like that, but
all right,
the most generic name that you could think of. Okay,
right.
And
so, what was your very first comic book that you ever actually came home with, and was so excited that you can remember, like, oh my gosh, I got this is that you remember holding in your hand and being excited about?
I'm going to say Superman. It was probably a Superman comic book. But actually, I didn't really get into the Batman comic books until after I saw the Michael Keaton Batman movie. That was my first introduction to Batman.
Okay.
Well, no, I take that back. When I was a little kid, they were showing reruns of the Adam West Batman show, and of course, you sit down and watch that when you're a little kid, you're amazed by all this stuff that's going on in there. And hey, Euler Greg's in the house. All right. How you doing?
Well, hello there, Euler Greg. Good to see you. Not that I can actually see you, but you know what I mean. Now, the main thing I always remember about the Adam West Batman ones, because I used to watch them too, is how they always had the find out, will Batman and Robin succeed? Find out next week. It would be like the perilous moment, the most exciting. They had the best cliffhangers, is what I'm getting at.
Cliffhangers, that's the thing about it, man. It's like, yeah, what you just said. Now, I do have in my hands here, I have the Nightfall series. And basically what Nightfall is it occurred right after Bane broke his back, right after he broke Batman's back, and a new Batman took over. And so
really,
yeah. So what I'd like to do now, if it's okay with you, is put my camera on and show the people in the audience some of my.
We don't want to look at your toe again, man.
Oh no, I'm not showing my toe. although I will.
I'm just kidding.
I will say the toe is less purple, and the thing is, the weird thing is, the bruise seems like it spread a little bit to some of the other toes.
Huh? That's odd.
I don't know, man.
None of the piggies are going to the market, huh?
No, I don't think so. Not this time.
Okay.
But I would like to explore that on a different day. But I'm just
the new Batman, the Bane breaking his back thing.
Oh no! I'm going to explore that today, man.
Oh, okay.
This is coffee talk. Coffee talk.
Well, let's hear about it, man. What was it you were going to show us?
With Hebrew and Sagittarius speaking, baby. Sorry about that. I'm getting kind of, you know what? Just.
How many cups of coffee are you on?
I think 6.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot.
Right? No, man. I would just like to flash the comic book covers past people real quick, and just see if anybody remembers any of these titles. You might yourself. Were you ever a big comic book guy there, sagittariusly speaking?
Like I said before, I mean, I had a few. I just didn't have a lot. I remember I had Green Lantern. I had Spider Man. Probably had more Spider Man than I did any others. I was a big Spider Man geek, and then um, I said Iron Man, Green Lantern, and Spider Man, and probably a few Superman. And I remember having a couple Silver Surfer ones. But other than that, I don't. I mean, oh, Incredible Hulk. I also had some Incredible Hulk comics.
Oh
But
man,
other than that, I don't really remember like too many other titles that I actually owned.
Batali, Batali's in the house tonight too.
You mean this morning?
Oh yeah, man, I'm used to us doing night shows.
I don't know. Maybe you're in Australia. You shifted on me.
Right? Hey, it's night somewhere. See, I thought this guy was Bane, but I guess he's not Bane, so I'm not going to show him. But let me go ahead and turn my camera on, and we'll go through these real quick. Okay, we have Batman.
You can make me small again if you want.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Sorry. We got Batman. Too much glare, man. There you go.
Yeah, that's it. You got it now.
Nightfall #2. Maybe if I turn that light off.
You never know. That might actually work.
Let me go turn that light off real quick. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, or put something like a shade on it or something in between it.
Yeah, I'll just unplug it, man. Don't need light during the daytime.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to make a huge difference.
There we go. Sit in my favorite chair.
Then you just got a slight glare from the monitor, but the monitor's killing you now.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go.
The monitor's actually making it worse.
Let me go turn the other thing off. Hold on.
Just light some candles and shut the blinds and turn everything off.
There we go. Okay, let's see if this helps. All right. Still got
It's still the monitors messing with you. It's not any of the other light sources.
But there you
go. I can see it.
Nightfall #2.
All right.
And that looks like what I thought it was Bane, but looks like an older gentleman with a beard, like beating the crap out of Batman there.
Yep.
So let's move on. I got a bunch of these to go over, so we need to hurry up.
All right. Well, I'm not trying to slow you down.
There's these.
Again, you can't hold it straight. You got to turn it one way or the other.
Nightfall #4, and there's the picture. Looks like
you go.
Looks like Killer Croc and Bane, and Robin's tied up there in the corner.
Yep.
That might be the Jason Todd Robin. I'm not sure. And we got #6. Oh, that's weird. I'm not sure exactly what this one is, but it's Nightfall #6.
All right.
Who
are these other guys in the image there?
See that? I couldn't tell you. I think one might be the Joker, Scarecrow, and I don't know who this other guy is, but you could tell who Scarecrow is.
Yeah, the other guy almost looks like Frankenstein a little bit.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I know it's not, but it kind of resembles them.
So, okay, we're losing viewers, so I need to go ahead and go through these. There's this one, #8.
Okay, I'm with you.
Batman with some kind of weird.
Yeah, he looks kind of like alien-esque.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
A little bit like what is the guy, the symbiote from Spider-Man? That guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah, for sure. Now you got me thinking.
Venom.
Yeah, Venom.
Yeah.
And here's #10. See,
You're killing me with the glare again.
Well, I'm sorry, brother.
Okay. There you go.
Some bats are holding him underwater. It looks like.
All right. So it's often perilous for Batman. It looks like.
Yeah, can't wait to read that one. All right, this one's kind of weird too. I'll get the number first, and then I'll show.
Yep. You have to turn it, sir.
Well, no, I'll
there
get
you go.
First. What number is that? Number 16.
Okay.
And that shows. Looks like Batman's beating the crap out of somebody with a freaking belt, or no? What is that? A mace?
Yeah.
Looks like he's beating, and Rob is standing back there.
Yeah, Robin's got his hand on his chin.
Robin's standing back there like, yeah. That's weird. All right, moving on. Oh, here's one with Bane standing over Batman like he's going to kick his ass. Let me get the glare off. Dang it.
So, yeah, I'm noticing Bane looks a lot more like sinister and less human, more like a demi-demon or something. Like in the movies, he's always kind of just like, just a guy with a mask on, but in the comics, not so much.
Well, you got to remember in the comics, he's pumped up with venom.
But you know what I'm saying? In today's technology with the CGI, it seems like you could make him look more like that if you really wanted to.
True. Here's one, the Batman just kind of, this is a thicker comic book. Might be two in here. Just kind of gliding over the city. See?
Yep.
And that's number 19. I think we're getting there. I'm going backwards, though, but we're getting there. Number 17. Looks like Batman flying over, about to punch the lights out of some poor guy. Well, he might not be some poor guy. Who knows what that guy did? The guy might have done some evil doing. Look at him. He looks kind of rough.
Yeah.
Just pretend like that glare is a blur box. It's blurring something out. And here, this one, Batman's got 5 o'clock shadow going on. See that?
Yep. Yeah, he looks like he's had a few too many cups of coffee and didn't shave this morning.
Oh, see you later, Oiler Greg. I'm sorry we didn't get to do a shout out with you on the show, man.
Oh, do you have to leave?
Yeah. Did you say
if I had to go to work or something?
Did you say he looks like me after a few cups of coffee?
No, I said he looks like he's had a few too many cups of coffee and forgot to shave.
Oh, okay. Ooh, here's one with poison ivy. I kind of like that.
All right.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, that one's making me itch a little bit. Yeah, it looks like she's making Batman submit to her power.
Definitely.
She got a little dominatrix on him.
Let's see how many of these I got left, man. I got quite a bit of these. I got 2 left.
All right.
Okay. This one looks like he's facing off against the Scarecrow and the Joker.
All right.
I don't know if I got that. Please ignore the glare if I got it in the right light. There we go. Do you see the Joker there in the corner?
Yes.
And there's Scarecrow there at the top. These are really good cover arts if I just get the glare off of them. In fact, one day, what I might do is look them up online and just show pictures, make a video,
Right.
Last one.
Drum roll, please. Oh,
man.
All right, what we got here?
I came in too quick. It looks like Batman beating up Alfred. I don't know.
Oh, Alfred. Or he's just over, like he just found Alfred dead or something.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Alfred did die in the series at some point. and then they brought him back to life by putting them in Ra's al Ghul's pit.
All right.
That was number 3. That's not Alfred. That's just some kid.
Oh, okay.
All right. I see now. See, look. I'll hold it this way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The glare makes it look like he's got a mustache or something, but it looked like it might be a woman even.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, I got.
If you look at the dark shadows in the cape there, do you see like little subliminal images in the cape? Like the way that the shadows on the cape, they almost look like I see like Joker type faces in the shadows, like evil. Do you see that? Like, well, especially the one on the right side, right where your thumb's pointing. It looks like a little demi ghoul or something. You see that? Like his eyes and his mouth and the right there touching your thumb is his hand coming up out of there.
Well, I can't. I think that might have to do with the glare on the.
No, it looks like it's the way they drew the shadows to look more sinister, like the dark marks on the cape. Let's look at it. You don't really notice it unless you're looking for it.
I'm not noticing it on the screen. When I look at it, it's a little different when you look at it on the comic.
Well, what I'm getting at is it's kind of abstract. Abstractly, just look at the black mark and just try to imagine like when you look at clouds and you say, "Oh, the cloud looks like an elephant," that kind of thing.
I'm not seeing it, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. It might just be having an overactive imagination.
I guess so, man. I don't know. I don't see it. We can ask people in the audience if they see it. I'll hold it up one more time.
You kind of have to be seeing a little bit. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but especially the one on the right side, it looks they just look like sinister smiles, and like that one looks like like kind of like a, I don't know how to explain it, like a evil minion leaping over or creeping over. It's just the way that it is kind of like loosely abstractly there. It's not like it's real defined. You kind of have to try to make yourself see it. So I digress.
I'm not really seeing it. But like you said,
kind of like jack-o'-lantern, like the way you would make a jack-o'-lantern face or something like that. You know what I mean?
I guess so. I don't know.
That's all good in the hood, man. Let's move on.
But we can. That was the last one. I just wanted to share those with everyone because they don't know me.
Oh. Well, anybody who's followed your channel for any length of time knows that you're you really like your Batman. So.
Oh yeah, and now they kind of get an idea. I have a lot more comic books than that, obviously, up at the house, my grandparents' house. I got them scattered throughout I got them scattered throughout the land. So,
are you going to go see Joker on the night it premieres?
Not on the night it premieres because I know it's going to be kind of nuts in there.
Right. You're not going to wear like some fancy lipstick and put a little powder on your face or anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to get shot.
All right.
No.
You're not going to wear your trench coat and take your toy gun?
I don't. No. That's fine.
All right.
Fine. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Ooh, my toe hurts. Now, I don't get where, and maybe you can clue me in on it a little bit, and it's very controversial, I know, but last night on last night's show, and maybe it's because I'm not as awake as what most people are, but I don't. When I watched all the news footage and stuff, um, when the stuff went down at the what movie theater was that in Colorado?
The Aurora.
When all the stuff went down in Aurora and all those people were shot and supposedly, I mean, I'm not saying
I'm pretty sure they were shot, but if you it's hard to find the eyewitness testimony from when reporters first showed up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of like look on certain outlets to find that, because they've suppressed all those actual. They've taken those videos down. Like unless you are in the loop of like conspiracy circles, you can't find them.
That's what I'm saying is like where did the black mask guys come from is what I'm trying to say, because I never.
Oh, they weren't black mask. They were just, what happened was the original eyewitness testimony. What they're basically doing is they're saying a guy got up. He was in the theater watching the movie just like everybody else. It was really just, it wasn't that far into it. Like only like the previews that just went off. The movie was just kind of getting started. And maybe 15, 20 minutes into it, the plot was just starting to build. And it was as if he was on a phone call, and he got up and he walked down toward the exit door.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thinks anything of it. A guy's got a phone call. He's walking down over toward the exit door, probably going to take the call and try not to interrupt the movie, right? That's normal behavior. Wouldn't you agree so far?
So far, I'm with you, yeah.
Yeah. But then he opens the exit door. In a movie, people notice when someone opens the exit door during the movie, because the outside noise and the outside light comes into the movie theater. I think it was kind of like, I don't know, like it was dusk, nighttime, but it was still lit up outside, like at night, like the parking lot lights and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they noticed that he opened the exit door. And then, no sooner than he opens the exit door, they notice 4 male figures dressed in all black walk in the exit door.
Okay.
So really what he was doing was he was letting the people in. Now, was he purposely letting them in, or, was it a coordinated effort where he was supposed to get up and go do that? Or was it just, they got lucky and he opened the door for them? I mean, I guess you could decipher that either way, but my best guess is that the phone call he was making was to let them know, hey, I'm coming to the exit door now.
Okay.
I
understand all that, but why was there only one guy that was pointed out and arrested?
Because that's the official mainstream story. That's the one that CNN, that the police shot a guy that was supposedly the lone shooter. He was dressed up. He had social issues. They had a whole backstory for him already prepared.
I see.
To make him the patsy, so to speak.
I'll have to look into that because I never read any of that. Where do I find this, first of all?
Well, you know what? It's not something I can really say like exactly right now off the top of my head while we're on the show, but I'll help you with it later.
Okay. Because when we were talking about it last night, I was getting confused. I was like, where did these 4 black masked guys come in at? I never.
Well, they didn't really have masks. They were just dressed in black.
Okay.
Yeah, the mask thing, I don't necessarily. They just the way the eyewitness said it was 4 guys dressed in all black. So in other words, it was a professional. What that kind of implies is that it was a professional job. It wasn't some guy who lives in his basement showed up at the movie theater as a deranged Batman fan wanting to kill everybody. It was somebody's agenda to serve a purpose.
Well, I'll tell you what. we've got Michelle just walked in.
All right.
So, you know what? Why am I doing this one at a time? Why don't I give this room a shout out while we're on here?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
We'll scroll on down here. Chaos Reality is here today. The Nikeus joined us earlier on, and I think she's still lurking around. Oiler Greg, of course, with a wrench. Vitality Hemlevsky. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. And Awaken Active is here, which I mentioned is Michelle, of course. And
Yes.
I do believe she has a wrench as well. So that's all we have for right now. There's got to be a few more lurking because we have 8 watchers. And I know
All right.
I just mentioned 8 names.
Yeah, unless somebody's watching on two different YouTube channels at the same time. Could happen.
It is possible.
Yeah.
See, now I've got it so dark in here, I can't see what the heck I'm doing with my ashtray over here.
Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Well, try not to bump into anything and stub your toe.
Oh, I know, man. Hey, I'll tell you what, man.
Are you wearing your special boot right now?
I am wearing my special shoe, and I gotta tell you though, man. Last night, man, putting the covers over it. Oh man, that's a big mistake. Big mistake.
It got too hot?
No, the cover kept hitting my toe, man.
Oh, I see. So you didn't wear the boot to bed, is what you're saying?
No. Well,
Okay.
You're only supposed to wear it like when you're walking around, but I try not to wear it like if I have to get up to go to the bathroom or something like that. I'll kind of forget about it, but you know how it is.
Right.
Oh, and Go-Kart Bob is in the house as well. Hello, Go-Kart Bob. How you doing? So I was watching. I was going over the videos, and I don't know. Do you ever watch like the movie channel videos and stuff?
You have to be a tad bit more specific.
Do you ever? They have free movies on YouTube and stuff, and I came.
Oh yeah. I do that once in a while. There are just so many ads on those free movies. Like you watch 4 minutes of movie, and you have to suffer through 2 ads, and then you watch 4 minutes of movie, and yeah, it just it's hard for me to do that. Like I have a hard time with that.
I was watching the Masters of the Universe movie.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, if they would have just kept it on Eternia, and if they would have just added some of the bad guys, like they had Beastman and Evil Lyn in there. What I don't understand is why they had to make up new bad guys. It's like, okay, I get that you have to sell new toys and stuff like that, and I know
that movie was destined for failure. I mean, they take He-Man out of his element, but they put him in New York City. I mean, this is almost like He-Man Crocodile Dundee is really what it turned into.
Right, like a fish out of water. Yeah, I don't understand why they do that crap. It's like they bring them into Los Angeles or New York or something like that, like you mentioned. But it's like, keep it on the planet of Eternia, it would have been just fine. And
then use the heroes and the villains that we're all accustomed to. Have him ride his Wildcat. What's his name again?
Battle Cat. Yeah,
Battle Cat, and have him go slay some Beastman and Skeletor, and you maybe even have like what's the guy that flies Stratos or whatever, help him out a little bit. Yeah. That would have been a cool movie.
And they replaced Orko with Gwildor, which I could kind of see what they're doing there. It's like they couldn't really have a wizard flying around for an hour and a half of a movie or however long it was.
And maybe cast like an American as He-Man, not some Russian guy from a Rocky movie. Just saying.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they sometimes you have to work with what you have at the time.
Are you trying to say like Arnold would have made a better He-Man than that guy?
Arnold
Put a blonde wig on him. I mean, it would have worked.
Arnold at that time had too thick of an accent. I'm not saying Dolph Lundgren didn't have an accent, but
right, yeah, I guess you're right.
I don't
know. There had to have been some type of like American, like Hulk Hogan could have done it.
No, I don't think so. We're not dressing up Hulk Hogan as He-Man. Besides that, he was too busy with his wrestling career at the time, I think, and besides, he'd had to shave off the mustache, man.
Oh yeah, true. It would have been weird seeing Hulk with no mustache.
you gotta. I don't know, man. That would have been kind of weird.
But there had to have been a professional wrestler or somebody out there somewhere that could have done it. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I have no problem with the casting so much. I really don't. It's just, you're going to give a character with long pointy ears, and why not a short guy with long pointy ears? Why not put a mask on him, call him Orko? You don't have to have him floating around during the whole 90 minutes, but just, I don't know, just call him Orko. Call him for what he is. You don't have to invent new freaking
So you're telling me last night you sat through that atrocity of a movie all over again?
Yeah, just so I could. Well,
I've busted your balls, man. I'm just trying to.
More or less, it was something to have on in the background so I could go to sleep. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
you're a dedicated fan, my man. That's all I got to say about that.
But I remember, even when I was a little kid, I remember like begging my grandma to take me to go see that movie, thinking it's going to be an awesome He-Man movie. And even as a little kid, I'm watching this movie thinking, what the hell is going on here? Who the hell are these people? Where's Battle Cat? Where's Prince Adam? Why are these villains so stupid, generic villains I've never heard of before? It's like, come on, man. Come on, you got Skeletor in there, you got Evelyn, you got Beast Man. The snake guy should have been King Hiss or somebody that we know. And the other, who's Blade? They use a generic name like Blade. You could have turned him into Trap Jaw easily. It's like, come on, really? What is going on with the damn movie?
Are we doing a what really grinds your gear segment again? I'm sorry, you forgot to put up the icon.
I got to put the what grinds my gears graphic stuff there. Yeah. But it's like, no, but seriously though, man, it's like, and then you have half the movie take place in California. It's like, come on, no, we're not doing this fish out of water story again. It's like, dude.
Well, I know because we've talked about it, but just for the audience sake, they are getting ready to start filming a new He-Man, and they're promising to get it right this next time. Who was the guy they cast as He-Man in the new one? They already cast the main guy. Do you remember who he is?
Oh, They've thrown out so many names there. It was at first it was supposed to be Helmsley, or not Helmsley, Helmsworth. Chris Helmsworth was supposed to be He-Man. Then they threw him out, and then I think it's supposed to be the guy that was from what's that series? That teen heartthrob series.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of. I can't think of his name though.
Oh, the vampire guy. No, not the vampire guy. The werewolf.
No, that's a different movie. Yeah,
Um, he's supposed to be He-Man, the werewolf
right.
guy.
Yeah.
What the hell's his name? What the hell's the name of
Oh,
these movies?
I know what you. I just can't think of it right now.
Is it Blood Moon? No, not Blood Moon. Bella's in it. Shit. I can't think right now, man.
All right. Well, sorry I even went there.
But anyway, yeah, Twilight.
Oh yeah, team. Not is it Team Jacob?
Whoever the werewolf is. Who's the werewolf?
Yeah, whoever the werewolf guy is. Yeah, that guy. Now he might actually be a decent He-Man because he's got personality. He's buff enough, I think. He's cool enough for guys to like him, and women already love him. So I think that might be a hit, man.
I'd be honest with you, man. I was looking forward to seeing Chris Helmsworth as He-Man. I mean, he made a good Thor. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he would have done it. But I think that role is a little bit too similar. Like you would still be kind of seeing Thor, even though it was supposed to be He-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, the other guy that plays the vampire guy is supposed to be the next Batman.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So he's taking over He-Man and Batman. He's all kinds of mans.
Yeah,
He's a Wolfman, a He-Man, and a Batman.
No. Not the Wolfman, Jacob.
It's the Thor. Thor is supposed to be the next Batman.
No. I'm being confusing here. I know. The one that plays the vampire in that series, the Twilight series.
Yeah. I can see him kind of as Batman. I don't know. I'll have to wait and decide when I actually see it.
You know,
I'm not a real big fan of that guy in general. I never really liked his character in the Twilight series. I thought he was just kind of bland, and not just his skin tone.
Right, the skin tone definitely didn't help, but I don't know, but that's what they're talking about,
right?
But you know what? I'm going to tell you something though, man. We had plans for this show today. We had plans for it, and we started talking about the Joker. Then we started talking about Superman. Then we started talking about Batman, and then we're talking about He-Man. Hey, we're talking about a lot of man right now.
I know, man.
But hey, man, and all in all seriousness, though, man, we ought to get.
Quit with the mans already. All right, man.
Okay, man. I know what you're talking about, man.
All right, man.
Dave. No, we'll do that on another show. I was gonna say Dave's not here, man.
Oh no, yeah, let's not take it too far. They'll send the paddy wagon after us.
Hey, that paddy wagon's been trying to get after me for a long time, brother. So they want to lock me up in a straight jacket, throw away the key.
Yep, and they won't give you your comic books either when they put you in there. I'm just telling you.
Oh man, really?
No.
I don't know what I'd do without my comic books. I guess I can imagine stuff.
You could just draw on the walls.
Right. You know what I'm going to do, man?
What's that, man?
Here we are with the man stuff again. Man, the manly man. No, but seriously, I'm going to invite someone in here.
Uh-oh.
And if they don't accept the invitation, then they're yellow. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm gonna do this real quick. Hopefully they come in here and talk to us.
A mystery guest.
Mystery guest, please reveal yourself to the panel. And then also
and just so you guys know, it really is a mystery, even to me. I have no clue who he is inviting in.
oh yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you this much. Their name doesn't start with a J. Their name doesn't start with a B. And it doesn't start with a C.
Okay, well that narrows it down to 24 letters.
Right? So just think of who it might be. Oh hell. I didn't even that was a mystery even to me. There we go. Here's mystery guest. Drum roll, please. Oh, I don't have my drum roll. Oh no. Oh well. We'll just make one up.
All right.
There he is. Hello, Mr.
Well, hello there, mystery guest.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. What are you talking, man? No,
So you were lurking, were you?
I've been lurking. I wanted to pop in case the mystery guest come on because I want to see who it is, too.
Oh, I see.
Well, thanks for coming in to save the show.
Oh, there's no saving this. No, it's over.
There ain't no saving this show, is there?
I just come in to watch the total destruction.
All right. Well, you know what? So most people run when they see a train running off the rails. You decided to just get right on it.
I got the armor. Bring it. I ain't scared of no train. Some people run to it. Some people run to it. That's just the way we are.
So did you get enough sleep? Are you feeling refreshed and ready to roll today, sir?
Yep. I hope so.
We're having technical issues here.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
We got the mystery guest in there, but they can't come in.
Why not?
Something's going. I don't know, man. I said, man, something's going wrong. Now this will handle 4 people, right?
I don't know.
As far as I know, yeah.
Well, let me pop out and see if they can get in.
Oh, wait. No, don't. Stay right there. Hold on. And the mystery guest is... Ta-da!
Yeah, I don't have a picture in there.
Oh, wow. We got a 3-man, 1-woman panel.
Hold on.
I thought that's who the mystery guest was going to be. That's why I came in, because I wasn't.
I've never used this software, so I'm learning. So I'm just going to be just a blank little emoji for now. Is that all right?
Well, that's fine. You're not really blank in our book. You just blank visually.
And my camera, and I don't have OBS open, so my camera runs through it. So yeah, that's what was causing the hiccups. Good morning.
Good morning.
Am I coming through too loud because I don't have my headphones on?
No, you sound fine to me.
Okay, cool.
Coming through just fine. Nice and dandy. Good to have you on.
Yeah, it's been a while. And so this is what you're using now is SteamYard, huh? You like it?
Oh, yeah. This is way better than Hangouts.
Have you tried Zoom?
Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that answers your question, just in the way he said it.
Right?
Yeah.
Big old question mark over my head, huh?
That does answer that. Zoom is free, and you can come in with your camera or your little icon, or you can like set up a green screen behind you without having to have a green screen. And I think you can have 2 people in there unlimited, but then if you want to purchase it, you can have up to 100 people. Wow. That would be one heck of a live stream.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, everybody would have to really mind that mute button, 100 people. But yeah,
imagine 100 people live stream where you have 50 flat earthers against 50 non-flat earthers all trying to debate at once.
No, that is,
That would be a chaos reality.
Is my speaker going through my microphone, like echoing back to you guys, or is it coming through clean?
it's
You're-
clean.
Okay, just making sure, because I do have the output going through my speaker, and then input is going into my microphone. So just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, your speakers just must not be loud enough for your microphone to pick it up because it's not happening.
Okay, cool. Now I got to get back to your live stream.
Oh.
Where your people are talking. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Mute up.
Multitasking now. And it's early.
I see.
Very early.
So what time is it where you're at?
Well, it's 9:20, but you know, they have those like atomic clocks, right? This has been going on. I don't know how many other people this is happening to, but the past few months, those atomic clocks that are set, and they're never supposed to be wrong because they're all fed in, just like your cell phone clock on your phone. Even when you change a time zone, it will change with the time zone wherever the information is being fed from. Well, my atomic clock says that it's 12:20 right now, when it's actually 9:20 a.m. And this has happened the past few months. And then our cell phone clock will say at one time, our atomic clock will say another time, the clocks in the house will say all different times. My clocks are going freaking crazy. I've been late. Well, I'm always pretty much late for a lot of things, but I mean, I've been really late because my clocks have got me. They actually have. Sometimes I end up there on time and freak people out because my clocks are so crazy right now. So is that happening to anybody else?
The only thing I have weird with clocks is I have a digital display on my oven or my stove or whatever, and it always just falls off like at random times. Like I'll come in and I'm like, I think that the oven is on because it says it's 3:50. And I'm like, no, it's saying it's 3:50 in the afternoon.
No, it's preheated. No, that's what time it is.
I noticed something weird. I noticed my wife's tablet is a minute off of my computer. And
Yeah,
they both and they all should be fed, and they're off from my cell phone. So I do notice that, but it's a constant thing. Her tablet is always a minute ahead of all the other ones in the house, which is sort of strange when they should all be getting fed from the same exact source.
Yes, and my clock in my car, you know, when we have to set it forward an hour back, that's real easy to do, but with the minute hand is kind of a little bugaboo. And I will set back once I figure it out again how to set the minutes exactly right. And then it will always go to at least, it goes to 4 minutes ahead, and then it'll stay constantly at 4 minutes ahead. So it's not like it's a problem that continues to grow. It's like, no, I want to stay 4 minutes ahead, and that's where I'm going to stay. I don't care if you try to fix me. I don't know. These clocks, I'm just having problems because, I mean, I just looked at it just now. It's telling me it's lunchtime, and I'm like, no, breakfast, morning coffee. What are you talking about? It's throwing me off.
It set itself to Eastern because it is 12:23 here, so it's like it's on Eastern time.
Yeah, and see, it shouldn't do that because when you get it, I mean, it's mounted really high on the wall. And when you get it, you set it to your time zone, and all that's done. I mean, it even tells me when we're gonna have a full moon, or which even that's like not even right anymore, or the no moon, or it shows the eclipse how it's supposed to be, how we remember it. And then when I go out to look at the eclipse, it's like the Cheshire cat smiling at me, so Yeah. Everything's got a mind of its own right now. It's just, yeah. But hey, it is what it is. Hi, Ron. How are you?
Good, good.
Good. I've been wanting to talk to you, but not online.
Yeah, I know.
Not
But I
online.
figured you as a special guest. Well, I'm going to at least get on and talk to Michelle.
I'm
Definitely
special.
get together, have a little chat. My work
Out
schedule.
of curiosity, Michelle, did you happen to um, hear our live stream last night?
I heard part of it. I always pop in
Okay.
on you guys, and yeah, I was lurking on you. A lot of times you won't know if I'm here or not because sometimes I just like to be quiet and just listen. And I got a little bit on my mind right now, and we just, I mean, I could say this part now, but I'd rather talk to Ron off air about the details. But I finally got the investigation report on the crash. I'm no longer calling it an accident. It's a crash for what happened with my daughter. So, and they said it would take a month when it first happened, and it ended up taking almost 4.5 months. And so we finally got that report. So, yeah, it's definitely eye-opening, pretty devastating information there. But I will say this: she is in a much better place than if she would have survived. I'll just put it that way. I'm glad. I'm sad for the outcome, but I'm glad for the outcome at the same time because of it just would not have been a life worth living.
Well, I could definitely see how getting that would have stirred up emotions no matter what it said. But I'm sure that you're, based on what you're saying and or implying, that there were details that you were previously unaware of.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot more going on. Yeah, they pretty much, and I really think, and this stuff I don't mind. I don't mind being vulnerable. And being authentic to people because I'm human. I have a heart. I lost my child. Shit happens, and I'm going through it. I'm sorry about the language, but when the coroner came at midnight, and I thought it was Shannon, because remember I was supposed to be taking her to the airport that next morning, and she told me she passed, and then she told me that both of her legs were broken, and it's that upper bone, the femur bone, the strongest bone that we have in our body, and the way that she put it, that they were basically not just broken, they were pretty much shattered, and that was enough that she had passed away and that both of her legs were broken. She didn't tell me any other information at that point. Then when we got the death certificate from the coroner, from the funeral home, then we saw that it was multiple blunt force trauma, where I was under the impression it was just one blunt force trauma. And then that was like a little pow to the heart. And then to get this report, it's like, oh my God. And the details that we've got that, I'll talk to Ron about it whenever, probably maybe after we get off here, if you have time, we'll have a little chat, because it is nice to have somebody to confide in. And my husband, of course, is here for me, but he withdrew after we got the report. He's been so strong for me, and I know he's grieving too. But after he got that report, he read the whole thing, and then he stayed in bed the entire weekend until he had to get up and go back to work. That's how hard it hit him. So, it's just one of those things that it's just, whoa, mind bender. But I'm happy for where she's at now. I'd rather her be here and not have happened at all. But since it did happen, her being with Jesus, her being in the heavenlies, coming and visiting me, I can feel her around me. I can feel her love. I can feel her energy, because we each have our own energy signature that comes with with this body that we're encased in. You can sense different people. You know what I mean? You can sense it's your mom, or you can sense it's your brother, because they set off a certain energy when they're in your home. You know what I mean? And whenever she would visit, I would know, I could feel her presence in the home. But now when I feel her presence, it's much more strong. Like whenever I don't know if she does like a flyby, or just comes by to give me a hug and a kiss, or to tell me she loves me, or what it is, but it's much more intense. And also the love that I feel from her is really intense. Like my heart just feels like it just whoosh, just like explodes out, like she's watching over me to make sure I make it through this in her way. It's nice to know that she's still close, but I would still really like to hug her. Like, that's the stuff I miss: the hugging her, the talking to her, the listening to her voice, having a conversation. Now I watch the videos that I did with her, and I am grateful that I have those, but we can't add to that conversation or expand on that conversation. I just sit there and watch the conversation now as an observer, where I missed when we would sit down and talk to each other. So, but it's okay. I'm getting through it, and I don't take it out on anybody. I try not to take it out on anybody, because it's none of your guys' fault. I mean, you didn't do this, and this is not something that happened to me. God's not punishing me. I don't get those kind of feelings from it. It's just one of those things, and I'm not the only one on this realm. I'm gonna watch my words on that one. I don't want to be in the middle of that debate, but that has gone through this, or is going through this kind of a situation. It happens to a lot of people, and it's just gives me a new understanding. Losing a child just is so out of order. That's the part that I think messes with the parents' heads so bad, is that it's not supposed to be them first. We're supposed to watch them get married, have a family, live their life. And she had so much ahead of her, and I'm supposed to go first. I'm supposed to be the one that greets her and guides her over, to the other side. But who'd we lose? Sag?
Yeah, I think Sag dropped out, so
I bored
him. Bring him back in when he gets back.
I bored him to death. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Nah, his phone does that sometimes.
Oh, okay. But
I'm sure.
but we'll talk offline, and it really makes, like, I'll tell you what, one thing it does is it puts things into perspective, like the petty things that people argue over. You kind of look at it like, oh, and just shake your head. You're like, really? There are people that are dealing with much bigger things to deal with their heart than, whose cake tastes best, or who can run the fastest, or I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to prove that I am right. I don't care about being right. I think that things get put into perspective really quickly.
Oh, exactly. And it's sort of like I said last night, that ties right into that. The minute you think you're right, you're already wrong.
Yes. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I went to bed pretty early. I caught about 30 minutes of your show last night.
cool. Yeah, it was a pretty good one. We had some decent call-ins.
I'll have to it's on my whenever I watch a part of it, I put it on my watch later list so I can go back to it and it'll pick up where I left off.
Yeah,
A long show.
it was a early call, but she was a good call, and we had some good talk.
Cool.
It was 3 hours and 48 minutes, I do believe.
Holy
It was a
rhodiola. I may have to do that as a watch and then watch and then watch.
definite. Hey,
And
there's
that one in increments.
Yeah, little segments.
Hmm. Have
Yeah,
you
you
guys
make-
heard of Dare to Question? That channel? He's pretty new to the scene and he's doing live and learning the phones and all of that, and he's a pretty interesting cat. I think you guys should branch out to him. And he's looking for, he calls a team, everybody, kind of like what my motto, share what you know so we can all listen and grow type of a thing. And yeah, I think you guys would really like him. I think he would fit right in with you. His name is well, I don't know if I should say his name, but his name is Dare to Question is his channel name. I'll put his link in the, can I put it in your
yeah, throw his link over there. That way we'll have it.
yeah, so you can grab him. And well, there's no place in here to do it. This isn't like Hangouts, right? So
Well, there's a private chat. I don't know if you see it down there where it says chat.
I went to your live feed so I can see everybody talking.
I just put it in the public chat in case they want to check him out also.
Yeah.
That's what I will do. Hold on, I'll grab it. And but yeah, subscribe to him. I think you're gonna like him. He's learning how to go on live, and he's, oh my gosh, he's entertaining as heck. He's got that natural flow to him, and he's really nice. Just like, you'll like him. You really you will. You good old boys, you'll like him.
Cool. I'll definitely check him out.
Let's see if I can do this without losing you guys. Okay, where are you? Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can find it. See, I'm not as good with this kind of stuff that Armor Up is. He
I
can
just
multitask like the best of them. It's like, whoa. Where you
I
at?
just think it good. I can't multitask well either. I try.
I can't chew gum and walk, so this is.
I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, so I'm right there with you.
Awesome sauce. Okay, there we go.
Even my wife heard that. She said out of it, "Hey, someone thinks you can multitask."
Well, you run the phones and stuff here too, and it's hard when it's a one-man operation. I'll just put it that way. It's hard for me to keep it all straight. There's his link for his channel.
Let me put that. Open that in a new window.
Yeah, and
Look at that after this.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I could. I mean, maybe eventually, but I don't know that I could just do solo. Like, I could just go live solo and maintain it all and just keep things fluent and keep. I really count on these guys to kind of help me along, because I don't know that I could do it that way. That I could just go sagittarically solo, so to speak.
yeah, it's a lot. You're juggling a lot of balls and trying to keep up. Like, if you have a guest on, you're trying to keep up with what the guest is saying and what the chat is saying, and if you're taking calls. I mean, you got a lot going on, and it's difficult.
It definitely helps when you have more on your panel if you got to take bathroom breaks too.
This is true. That's where I say outro music. Gotta go.
Right.
Because I really gotta go.
Listen to this brief tune while I
Or you
take
could
care.
just do like Brian Staley and play 10 minutes worth of music.
There you go. Now I do have some like little clips in there with music and stuff in the OBS software. I guess I could, instead of like the outro, like just have a little music clip in there and then, come back whenever I'm done having my break. I'm going to go back over to this page where you guys invited me in and see if I could put how I add a picture. Hey, you
Now, I
guys.
used to. Oh, I'm sorry, but I used to go solo. I was doing it for quite a while there, and sometimes like you said, I'd put music on if I had to take a bathroom break or whatever, and it was almost dang near impossible to go and just be like, oh. But I could keep the momentum going up pretty good, but I'd have to have a good solid subject in order to get that going. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I
Yeah,
figured
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Armor.
I was just going to say, as long as the chat's active, I probably wouldn't have a trouble because I just interact with the chat like I like to do anyway. But yeah, if the chat was quiet and I was solo, there'd probably be a lot of dead air time.
And I haven't watched all of your solo stuff, Hebrew, but I have got a few of them along the way, especially, you know, some of your more recent ones. And what makes you so good at when you're doing them is it's usually something that's just recently got you going. Like there's you like it was something that happened on Dan's show that fired you up, or something a new Mandela effect that just came out, or something that you were passionate about. So it was like your fire was kind of stirred up. So it's like you really have. So it's like you have a lot to say. So with me, I mean, I just like to kind of get a little philosophical and introspective, and that would kind of get boring if it was just me, thinking insightful thoughts for an hour and a half out loud.
All right. Well, I know whenever I tell you talks amongst yourself and it's just you and me on the panel, you're like, well, how the heck am I supposed to talk amongst myself when it's just me here? But you did a pretty good job that one day talking amongst yourself. I think you came in and then your other self came in and then you stirred up a pretty good conversation with yourself.
Yeah, and then I went back and listened to that after the fact, and I was kind of embarrassed. I can't believe I acted so silly.
Yeah, you were just being silly. We get it. We all do that from time to time.
Is that better?
Hey, it's the Michelle we all know and love. Look at there.
Well, that's the logo one, as you can see by the little checkerboard in the back. I could put any kind of background with it, but they usually like these to be pretty small.
How do you do the electronic voice thing, Michelle? Some of your videos, you have that voice reading the article for you. Is that a program, or what? How does that happen?
No, when I go to the article, you just highlight the article and then you right click it and then say read out loud. And then it'll read it out loud for you, because sometimes my reading isn't so, and I can mess up words and stuff, or I could screw up people's names. But I know people really don't like to listen to that robotic voice that well, but at least they're getting the source, information, and the article is being read, to them. I do read some of them. I read a lot of the articles, but I do also, I kind of mix it up. But some with names, of certain people or professors, or with things like that, I will go ahead and allow the read aloud. It's really easy. When you go to the article you're wanting to share, you just highlight it, and once you click the read aloud on it, if you're wanting to screen share it, everything that's blue that you're wanting read aloud will go back to its natural color, and as it's reading it, it will highlight the words, and that I do that so people can read along with it and can follow where it's at in the article. It's a really nice feature, and it's a cleaner way, to get the information out, and then they can also see where the source information, even though I do list all source information in the description box, but a lot of times people they forget to look in the description box for source information. So if it's up on the screen, it's easy to see it instead of just reading and me showing you an image, because you could show an image that you want to go along with the read out loud with OBS. I mean, it can read it out loud, and I can be showing what I want, what I'm talking about, or what I'm what the presentation is about. But I usually, when I'm doing that, I will show the article so people can follow along with it and see the source information and do their own research. I want people to look for themselves and expand on whatever I'm showing, question it, look more further into it. Don't take my word for it, or don't take the information that I find on it, because you can go, much deeper. I try and just give the basics, like a starter course. And if you like what that starter course is on that menu, then you're going to go ahead and order more from that menu and dig deeper into it. Does that make sense?
Totally. I'm right there with you. I 100% am with you. And then I have one other question. I feel like I'm interviewing you. I'm sorry. I don't mean that. But these are questions that I would like to. I remember I wanted to ask you previously and never got a chance to. I was watching that one not too long ago, about a month ago. You did a live stream with a movie, and it was a boy in a relationship with this girl, kind of like early 20s, and his mother died or something, and he was having kind of like a reality thing. Are you with me? Do you know the movie I'm talking about?
Yep.
What was the title of the movie? Because I had to leave the live stream, and I was kind of getting into it, but I didn't know what the movie was called to be able to watch it later.
See, I don't talk during the movies. You'll notice that on my thing. I will talk before it, and then I try to leave it intact the best that I can, and then we talk after the movie. I have to look it up for you really quick because it is in the description of it. And
well, I can look it up then. I didn't realize you put it in the description.
It's available online, free to watch.
Yeah, I noticed that it was later. Those are the ones that you want. Those are the ones when you do live stream the movies, you choose ones that YouTube already offers for free.
Yeah, that I find for free. And I was really surprised when I tried to live stream the Rick and Morty that we got on the bargain bin, and it shut me down when you could find Rick and Morty all over the internet, all over YouTube free. And then I saw that they're wanting to charge people $1.99 per episode when I got the entire season in the bargain bin for $5.99.
I see.
4 hours of Rick and Morty's, and I had full season 1, full season 2, full season 3 that I was going to let you guys see, not all at once, because season 1's like 4 hours, so I was going to let that play out, and then, but yeah, they shut that down quick. But you can find those free online too. Just type in Rick and Morty, and a lot of times you'll find in different countries they can run them live without the repercussions that we have here. So
I see.
But it's still in English. You'll still see it in English. So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a time, but his dad disappeared. His dad went away and his mom never recovered. And then
that's what it was. You're right. Mm-hmm. It was a really interesting movie. Don't tell me too much. Don't spoil it for me. I was really into it. But I had to leave for some reason. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't stay and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I demonetize those. Sometimes they'll monetize those. But I didn't monetize that because my few seconds of talking about it in the beginning and then playing the movie and then talking about it a few seconds at the end, that's not my creation. So so on my side it's demonetized. I don't know if they play commercials in it or not. I don't think so, but
They didn't during the live stream, but well, on the replay, I don't know if they will or not. I could, you know, 'cause
but
I'm
it's
just going to go find the movie and watch it instead
and
of watching your
and
video.
I'll tell you what, you know, obviously I found the movie to play for you guys and there wasn't any commercial interruptions. So I don't think they have it monetized. So I could tell you what it is. Just give me a second. So that way the chat knows too, because it is a really good movie. I mean, it's kind of slow getting started. You know the kid, Ron, that's from The Sixth Sense? I see dead people. That kid? Is he still here? Armor Up? I'm sorry, I should be calling him Armor Up.
Yeah, I think he's muted. Give him a half second. He'll answer you.
Or Hebrew. But it's that kid is the star, but he's an adult. You know, he's grown up. So he's in other movies, you know, but he's well known for The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis. But that's who the star is in that show. And yeah. It's about timelines and time travel and all the different theories and things that we've been discussing and that have come up. Kind of touches on all those different things. That's why it was so interesting. Oh, I can show you because I'm on Dare to Question. So hold on. Hold on. Let's tell you the name of the movie. Yeah, that one. That wasn't that long ago that I did that one for you guys.
Armor's doing something. While you're doing that, I just wanted to mention real quick that
I'll follow you down.
That voice thing that you do. Yeah, I could use that for my Thirsty Thursday. There's some Bible passages and stuff like that I'm reading, and I can't quite pronounce a few words in there, and I'm like, what is this word or whatever? And I could use the like what the program, like you said, the voice thing. I would use that a couple times if I could find one that didn't sound like that annoying robot, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just you know, you got to look at it this way. You can't please everybody all the time. The people that will want to hear it, you know, and if you're more comfortable, then just let it read, because then they can't say that you're twisting scripture or you're putting different words in it or whatever when you're showing it and it's reading it out loud right there for them. I'm going to post the link that I have for that movie that's on my channel. Like I said, it's not monetized, so you shouldn't have any commercials. And the title of the movie. And it's I'll Follow You Down. If I can type. It is a really good movie, though.
Yeah, it was. It was really interesting. Are you still with us, Armor? Can you hear me?
I think over in private chat he said he had a phone call or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's what that was. I thought I saw something bubble up, but I hadn't clicked on it yet.
Yeah.
It showed, you know, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, when his dad went away for that weekend, it was like it changed the whole timeline, changed everything. So
yeah, I'm going to make a point to check it out.
yeah,
I'll probably watch it today.
when people are watching it, when you're watching the beginning, it's kind of slow getting started, but pay attention to what's going on with the dad leaving and then it like jumps forward in time, and then it's a good movie. It really is.
Oh, I see where you posted a link. Okay.
Yeah, I posted that's the link to the one on my channel. I didn't look up the movie, and I know that it's demonetized on mine, but like I said, I don't know if they put commercials in it. I don't think so, because the one that I found, and I also put the title of the movie so you can look for it that way too. I'll
Okay.
follow you down.
Got it saved. There we go. Watch later. And there we go.
What else have you got, if anything? Any other new tidbits that you'd like to share? Any new, not necessarily Mandela, but just new things you've recently discovered?
Well, I just want people to use discernment when a lot of people are talking about UFOs and they're taking pictures of these UFOs and they're claiming that they're UFOs. When in actuality, what it is, you stack lenses. And when they stack lenses, there could be dust in the lenses, or I actually found out that people are cutting up little pieces of paper or like confetti that see through, like paper mache kind of rainbowy. So then they'll put that in, little teeny bits of that in between the lenses, and then they'll point it at the night sky or the day sky, and then they're saying that there's ships coming in. And this is something that I want people to be aware of and to do it themselves. Don't trust me on what I'm saying, but when when you're watching people and they say that they're open, they want to share information, it's a safe place to talk about these things and it's authentic, and then you say something and then they time you out because you shared something after watching them for over an hour, well, that shows their fruit. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. But
yeah, honestly, I have a real hard time with any channel that makes a living off of showing UFO stuff, with a few exceptions, like what's that MRBBB3, like his channel I subscribe to, because he's
Mr.
pretty,
B, he's
yeah.
but he doesn't only show you his images or magnifying these images, and you can use different filters and things like that. But then I'm telling you, I recreated it myself and was able to get these same images that this person is claiming are UFOs, and they've got these people, it's almost cult-like. And if you disagree with what they're saying, just be wary of those kind of channels out there. They discredit the true Skywatchers, like Dead GBK is a true Skywatcher.
And what's the other one? Nigel, the View on Nigel, the View or something. You know that one?
No, you'll have to share links with me now.
All right. Those are the only two that I really even with those I still put, and they both encourage you to apply discernment when they're showing you these videos, because they're not always like their videos. They're ones that get sent into them, and sometimes they're just weather anomalies and things like that too. But
Right.
they are interesting. I don't get into it to the same degree where I'm following, going into live streams, and I'm just not that into it. You know what I'm saying? But I can see how it would be the way you're describing it. That's the way I kind of imagine it would be.
Yeah, it was, and what surprised me was the amount of people that were watching and how slow the chat was going. Well, then I made a comment and I got timed out for 5 minutes, and my comment, I didn't say anything bad to her or anything derogatory or anything. I was like, I kind of shocked me. So that's what prompted me to do a little more investigating. And then I was able to easily recreate. And, I thought I would need a fancy camera or whatever. No, I don't need a fancy camera. just a little bit of dirt on my lens, you know, if my lens is dirt, and point it at the night sky with a flash, and it shows up like you know, an armada of ships, you know, are coming in after us, but it's dirt, it's dust. So, you know, it's on perspective, and we all need to
That's
use
true.
discernment. And you know, if I can recreate that in 5 minutes, but the problem is she's built her whole channel on this, and I think that people get stuck in that, you know. And if you question them, even though they know that it's hogwash, they can't, they're stuck there because that's where they got their audience from. I don't know. I'm more into the honesty. I mean, if I found out my stuff was junk, and that I made a mistake, I'd be like, ooh, you know, I'm human. Shoot, I make mistakes. I fall down. And then my friends and stuff, you know, people are more responsive and respectful to you when you admit that you can make a mistake, and that you made a mistake, and you move forward. You know, you grow from it. You just, but yeah. But then there's other places that it's like, no, I'm right. I know I'm right. I'm 100% right. Don't question me. And then you throw a little dust on your lens and take pictures of the night sky, and then you got an armada coming in at you.
You know, I was going to say it's the same thing with Ghost. When people show orbs and whatever, you got to be real careful on those channels as well when they're trying to show evidence of ghosts. A lot of that could also be dust or bugs flying around the lens as well. You know, bugs fly in certain light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a fly flew in her mouth, and because you know, I like to look around a little bit, you know, and I wouldn't have even been over there had it not been for somebody that I recommend on my homepage. Highly recommended them. And she was out in her garden, and a fly flew in her mouth, and she told everybody it was a ship. It was a little tiny ship that flew in her mouth.
What? Really?
That's funny you say that. You know, there's another channel that I can't think of the name of it now. I don't subscribe to it, but I watched it a few times because it showed up on a, you know, recommended video or whatever. But it's this lady who is constantly trying to debunk the International Space Station, like constantly looking for flaws in their live stream or whatever. And one time she saw a fly on the window of the she said she saw a fly on the window of the International Space Station, like in the background. And then, you know, like she kind of been on the you know, like on the clip, she shows like this like real fly on a window, and you're thinking, oh wow, she really captured. And then when you watch the stream, it's just like there's this little blur on the window, and she's claiming it's a fly. It just cracks me up how what extremes people go to just to keep, you know, creating new content when they got that kind of a channel going on. But
Yeah.
I did put a link in the chat for the Nigis. It's the Nigis View on Things is the name of the channel.
Let me grab that because I'm back over here with you guys. Hang on. I'm going to grab it real quick. Because
I mean, again, it's just discernment. I mean, and some of it really is it's satirical, but people don't realize it's satirical, and that's the part where, you know, you have the people who realize that they're really just, you know, they're really just fabricating for entertainment purposes, but they're taking it way too seriously. I mean, maybe it's just me, and I'm the only one who sees it that way. But I mean, even with like this whole like secret space program and like your David Wilcock types and stuff like that, I just see that as entertainment more than. But I know he's got a cult following who 100% buy into all that stuff that he's saying, but I just don't see it that way. That's just me personally.
yeah, I was I was pretty shocked. It was a wake up call. You know, I'm just the type that normally I just unsubscribe and walk away. but I was still in there, and then she like said things about me, said my channel name, and said things that didn't even line up with the conversation. So
Well, you're gonna have to tell, not necessarily online, but you're gonna have to tell me the name of the channel. I'm gonna go troll them on your behalf.
oh no, don't troll them. I don't want anybody to, you know. I did. I outed her. I did. I normally don't do that, but I did.
Okay. So you
Because
handled it already, huh?
yeah, it's out. The news is out only because of the cult type of atmosphere that was there. That and I'm about freedom, sovereignty. Once you have the indwelling, well, like, I'm not going to tell you that my way is 100% the right way, but I went through by seeking Christ, and I had what I call the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. But what the Holy Spirit has taught me, which will lead you into all truth, is that we are sovereign beings, and we're not to be following, or it's a way of when you're following somebody, you're giving over your sovereignty and your energy to them, where there's other places that our energy and our efforts and our attention and intention needs to go to, like feeding hungry people, housing homeless people, there's just other areas that are beneficial to mankind, rather than, dust between a camera swearing that an armada of aliens is coming to either attack us or to come and take over and fix this planet. All that does is cause people to stop and not be active in their own life on moving forward to do the best that they can, to help other people around them and to grow themselves. You see that, and that's where, I'm not a big calling out channel. That's not what I'm about. I'm gonna share what so we can all listen and grow. But this one was, but it wasn't like mean. I'm not a mean type person, but I did want to draw awareness to a situation, because I don't want people to fall prey to this kind of deception, because of course it's interesting. There's all kinds of stuff going on right now that, is interesting. But when you get to the point where you're obsessing and that's your whole life there, then Houston, we have a problem. Definite play on words there. Go ahead and laugh at that.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, but I don't know. Awaken Uni Rock, it kind of has a ring to it.
Awaken
That was supposed to be a joke. You said you're not a channel that calls out other channels that I don't know if you even know what Uni Rock is, but he's that guy.
Uni Rock, I was in his Discord when he was first getting started, getting his channel together. I don't know where that man gets his energy. Oh, I mean, like
he can live stream like 12 hours straight, can he?
He just goes and goes and goes like the Energizer Bunny, man. I'll tell you, I don't know how he does it. Oh, he's got lots of energy, and in the meantime, he's still got all this information coming into him to share with everyone. I mean, wow.
And the other thing that he's guilty of a lot of times is he takes you a half an hour to tell you what he could have told you in 5 minutes.
Oh, maybe because he's trying to read, and he's a multitasker. He's trying to read incoming information, because he sure is live a lot. At least
he is. And he also likes to wait for I think he's waiting for the chat to build up. Like he's wanting to keep the people who are there. So he's giving you a little bit of it, and he's like, I'm going to go into more of this in just a little bit. But right now, I just want you guys to know. he does a lot of that, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I know who Uni Rock is, and never had a problem with him. He's more
No,
into
no, no. I don't have a problem with him either. He's that guy that likes to call out the false YouTube channels though, like the ones with the that try to become cult-esque. You know what I mean?
oh, well, maybe that would be a good place. Maybe he can handle it in better than I could, because it's not a comfortable feeling for me to do those kind of things. But it's also, I have to think about, okay, it makes me uncomfortable, but how many people will benefit from it? And so then I have to prioritize, is me being uncomfortable for a few minutes worth helping, even if it helped 10 to 20 people? Well, I can handle being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's you just have to weigh it out. Is it going to do something good for other people, which is, break them free and get them, back on their path, or, their refinement period. Anything that pulls you away from
Yeah,
the
and it's
objective.
one of those fine lines too, because I mean, if they're all happy to be there, I mean that'd be like coming into, like, let's say like somebody was to stumble on the dance channel and and see all of us ME freaks sitting in there talking about ME, and then try to convince us that we're all we're all crazy for believing in this Mandela effect. We would boot them right out of the pack. Okay, how dare you come in here and go against our uh, our belief system. You know what I'm saying? So there is a fine line there, because some people are just content and happy in their merry little,
Bubble.
group that they've created. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe if you watch my video, let me know what you think of it. And now, if I went in there and I was rude to her and, attacking, or, trolly, like a trollish behavior, well, then she would have every right to time me out and do what she did. Of course, because, I went into her house and I was disruptive. But she says that she's one thing and then does exactly the opposite.
I'm right there. I'm totally with you. I don't disagree with you one little bit. I'm definitely going to check it out. You've sparked my interest. So
And
I will.
doesn't do
What
that.
video is it that I need to see again? Could you?
It's just I think it's the last one I posted.
Okay, I'll check it out. It came up on my stream. I hadn't clicked on it yet, because we live streamed last night, and then here we are this morning. So I'll get around to it today.
And I've been, I did do a little bit of research before and I put together the presentation, and it kind of freaked me out, some of the things that I found. And so there's some of that in there too. So it's got some woo woo in there, but I'm not trying to, I just want people to think, not get swallowed up into it. And by now she should know that, you clean your lens on your camera whenever you're making shots, even when you go live and stuff, you clean your lens. That's a pretty common thing to do. Now, if you know that there's dust on your lens and these things are coming up, I mean, by now she knows that. But there was actually somebody has been investigating them for a while, and saw that they were actually putting little pieces of paper, and they showed it on accident, the little pieces of paper next to the camera, and then showed their images that they captured. So
That's funny.
Slip ups, if you have the eyes to see it.
Talk about construct.
Right. Con. And I'm structuring your mind, and I'm conning you at the same time. So yeah, we just need to be careful and use our discernment. But yeah, Uni would probably be the better one for doing something like that, because like I said, I'm not comfortable doing that kind of stuff. But I had to weigh out where me being uncomfortable for a moment and maybe picking up, some flack for it. But if it benefits other people, then it's okay to be uncomfortable. My comfort, there's, like I said, everything has whole different perspective now since, the loss of my daughter. This petty stuff, and even my worries about what somebody's going to think, by being able to recreate these images that they're calling an armada coming in to get us. Is that bringing fear to people, or is that bringing light and heart and love to people? You know what I mean? So,
I'm with you. I totally come to understand what you're trying to say. I smell what you're trying to cook.
you smell what I'm trying to cook. She's easy to find. And I do, I list all source information. So, yeah, yep. But yeah, that's what's been going on in
Starship.
Yeah, the Enterprise is up there too. It's all come
Yeah, I
together.
was reading. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was reading some of the comments. I was reading Starship presentation on the 28th. What's that all about? Does anyone in here know?
It's news to me.
Oh well, maybe. What's that name? Bubblevis.
Bub Elvis.
Oh, okay.
Babelbus. I like that name.
Bub Elvis.
I like it. Babelbus. Babelbus.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got a link or can explain a little more to us. We could look it up. Maybe I didn't hear of it either.
Yeah, interesting. I'd definitely like to hear more about it.
Now, I'm not okay. Being that I went up to ECETI and you guys are all well aware of that, I'm not going to tell you that there's not something else going on. But it's not an armada coming into, I just wonder, if it's the aliens of today are what, God created the angels first.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a third of them fell. Okay. So are the aliens of today the angels of yesterday? That's my thoughts on it.
That's your working theory at the moment?
Yeah, I'm still praying on it and meditating and researching, and from the descriptions of the angels that these messenger angels would look like to people, it's just like, whoa. A lot of them sound like what they're saying these other beings look like. And I think of Ezekiel's wheel, and I think I already asked Armor Up about Ezekiel's wheel and all the faces that were, all around it. And, it moved in all different directions, but the faces, faced all different directions so that the wheels didn't actually turn. It would just move. And since there was already a face going that direction, and what'd you say? One was an eagle, one's a lion, one's a man. And what's the fourth one? Is he back with us?
I think it was eagle, lion, man, and bear. Was it bear? I don't remember. Was it?
Might be. I think that sounds familiar.
I don't remember offhand. I think it might have been bear. It was either bear or like some type of cat. No, I think it was a bear because we had the lion, eagle.
Yeah, because the lion would be the cat, I would think. The feline. The felines. But they're all different types of angels that, are around God's throne. Too, they're described in another area of the Bible of those that are around God's throne saying, holy, holy, holy. So with that, is that the seraphim?
Yeah, I believe that's the seraphim, if I'm remembering correctly.
And Lucifer was a seraphim. He was one of the highest ranking angels. So, it's just food for thought.
Yeah, about I wanted to ask you this, Armor. Maybe not. You can answer this question. But I live in a town or in the city of St. Petersburg, and I was out talking to a local back when that Dorian was heading our way or whatever, and they proceeded to inform me that they'd lived here their whole life, and that St. Petersburg is the one city in Florida that has always somehow managed to dodge a direct hit from from any major hurricane. Now we've had a few small ones. We've never had any like true devastation like most other parts of Florida have at one time or another experienced. And it got me thinking, the town is named after a saint. I don't know if that, gives us any type of, blessing or something like that. But I got curious as to who Saint Peter is, and I haven't actually took the time to look it up. I didn't know if maybe you knew off the top of your head anything about Saint Peter.
Well, yeah, St. Peter is basically Peter from the Bible, the one that denied Jesus. They're the ones the Catholics see. This all stemmed because of a misunderstanding of what Jesus said, as usual. This whole religion sprung up because Jesus asked Peter, he asked all the disciples, who do you say I am? And some of the disciples said, well, some say you're a prophet. And some of the disciples said, well, some say you're this and some say you're that. And then he asked Peter, who do you say I am? And Peter said, you're the Son of God, the Messiah. And Jesus said, man didn't show you this. Only by the Father do you know this, basically. Now I'm paraphrasing my own words here, but basically Jesus said, you only know this because the Father enlightened you to this. That's why you know I'm this. He said, and then he says, I shall call you Petrus, which means pebble. And then he says, and this is all due to the bad translation, why everyone got this wrong. Well, they did it on purpose, in my opinion, but he says, I will call you Petrus, pebble. And then he says, upon this rock, Petra, a whole different word and a major different meaning. Upon this rock, upon this mountain, upon this huge pile of stones, I shall build my church. So everyone misinterpreted it. And like I said, I think they did it on purpose and created Catholicism. The St. Peter, they built their church on Peter because Jesus said upon this rock. They think he meant Peter, but that isn't what he meant. He meant on the fact that I am the Son of God, on this realization that you are the first little pebble. I shall call you Pebble. You are the first one Father has revealed this to. You are the beginning stone. You're a pebble. But when it's all done, upon this giant mountain of pebbles, I will build my stone. More people are going to get the realization that I am the Son of God. That's what I'm going to build my church on. But it got misinterpreted to people believing he said, I'm going to build my church on Peter. But that isn't what he said. He said, Peter's the little, he's a start. He's part of it. He's a pebble.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Yeah,
So,
I remember.
Peter is what the Catholic religion was based upon. St. Peter was Peter from the Bible that they think they're supposed to build a church on, but they're not.
We kind of sort of talked about this a week ago or two or something like that. I asked you what Petra meant, and then you sort of went into it, but I don't think we went into it on air, though. We sort of talked about it because I
don't remember if we was on air or not, but that's the importance of looking back. You know what I mean? If the Spirit wouldn't have moved me to look at the original words, I'd have never noticed, because in the English, it just says, I shall call you Petrus, which we think means rock, which it does, but it means a whole different rock than Petra. There's two different words there, although in our Bible, it's the same word. And that happens a lot, a whole lot through the Bible. That's the problem. That's why it's best to, when something, the Spirit will move you. You'll know when you need to look up an original meaning. But as soon as you look up the original meaning, you realize he's talking about two whole different rocks here. They can't possibly be the same thing. Although on the surface, it looks like they're the same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a Mandela effect when I first read it. I'm like, wait a minute. When did he call him Petrus or Petra?
That's when he called him Petra.
Yeah.
Or Cephas. It also says Cephas in some versions.
Cephas, that was it. That was the word I asked you about, remember?
Hmm. But again, it's all a matter of translations. But if you look, it means pebble and boulder is basically the distinction he makes. I shall call you pebble, and I'm going to build my church on this boulder.
Hmm.
What he's saying. But without looking at the original, you never know that's what he's saying. He just says, I'll call you rock. I'm going to build my church on a rock. Which, like I said, I think was done on purpose to fool people into thinking Peter was the start of some type of church organization that we're supposed to have. Jesus
Right.
didn't
It's
do,
part of the it became part of the indoctrination. I get it.
yes. Yeah, Jesus didn't do religion. Period. It's just that simple. He built he built his church on those the Father revealed the fact that he's the Son of Man to. Us, basically. Any of us who understand who Jesus is, thanks to the Father revealing it to us, because that's the only way we know. That's who he builds his church on. Not just one pebble, all the pebbles, the whole body of Christ.
That's the truth that I've been getting pointed to.
Man, I
So,
tell you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just agreeing with them. That's the truth that I've been. It's like it's an indwelling. It's not a brick and mortar. It's a within. And one day, just doing what I do, life, and next thing I know, I was on my knees, and I can concur with being drawn to you. It's and all these signs that are being put out. You brought up Dan from Scarab Performance. Now, the Mandela effect is a community. It's not a religion. It's a bunch of people coming together and sharing that they're seeing these crazy anomalies, and it really brings a space for comfort for people that are seeing things that don't line up with their memories, and things like that, where the other is it's one person that's leading the group and everybody else is to follow, where you don't get that feeling over there. It's it's a common thing, and a place for people to actually truly go that are having this happen within their life and see that they're not alone in it. There's a huge difference between a cult, religious style belief, and a community that's there to help lift each other up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because we're so diverse in the community. I mean, there definitely is no one type religion we all adhere to in Scarab's community. That's for sure. I mean, we've got agnostics, we've got atheists, we've got, I know people don't like the term, but New Agers, we got quote unquote Christians, and we got me, who is none of those. We, we got all kinds.
I'm
So,
labelless. That's another thing that Deb, you notice that we get led to, is that the labels. Stop it with all the labels. Labels divide. Labels divide, and that's not that's not what it's about. It's the way that this is being done. It's so divinely perfect. It's beyond our comprehension. But it's like calling out for us to come together, and that we need to work together, because that's where the answers, and we all hold that piece to that puzzle, and our piece is just as important as the next person next to you. So it's bringing us together in a way that is our faith is so strong now that that's one thing that is for sure, is that my faith, my husband's faith, is unshakable. There's no doubt. There's, if somebody comes up and says there's no God, I would be like, oh my gosh, how could you even think that? Look around you, I mean, but yeah. So that, when we bring up Dan's place, versus this other place that I'm talking about. Two completely different feels to it. Yeah, there's problems in every community, but that's because we're diverse. And just like Arm Rep said, not everybody's going to get along. Different personalities will rub up, but we have one thing in common, and that is that we're all seeing this anomaly. We don't all have to be the same, but we all see this together, which forms a community. And Dan's not telling us we have to think this way, chew bubblegum, tap our head, rub our belly, hop on one foot, or, he's going to kick us out. You know what I mean? It's, you have to really be an a-hole in that group to get kicked out. Unless you got a moderator that don't like you.
Yeah. We won't go.
No.
Deserves it. But
that was a joke.
Sometimes,
even moderators have different personality. It just ties into the diversity,
Yeah. And I think that's the way we got to be. And I think that's the main thing Father's showing us through this is the fact that none of us are right. We need each other. We all got little bits and pieces of the puzzle, I figured this out a long time ago, thanks to the Spirit, because I've studied different religions. I know the basics of what all the religions stand for, Buddhism, Hinduism. I've studied them enough to get the basics. Some I went deeper into, and there's truth in all of it. But the problem is it's also been wrapped up in lies, just like the Christian religion, whether people like it or not. It's the way it is. We've all been indoctrinated into lies. I don't care what quote unquote religion we were raised in, but the truth is there. It's in every one of them. So we all need to bring our own truths from our own backgrounds to get the big picture. That's what it's all about. None of us have the whole picture, and none of us are. Christianity isn't 100% right. New Age isn't 100% right. Buddhism isn't 100% right. Hinduism isn't 100% right, nor are any of them 100% wrong. That's the point. The truth is in the middle. It always has been. And I think that's what Father's trying to show, at least in Dan's community, that the truth's in the middle. Ain't none of us got it all right. So just listen to what each other have to say, glean the truth out of it, and move on. None of us got it all right. And none of us will have it all right, because the straight and narrow path doesn't run through Christianity. The straight and narrow path runs through everything. All forms of worship bump against that straight or narrow path. All of them. None of them are 100% wrong. And none of them are 100% right. They're all veering off the path somewhere. But they all touch the path, if you know what I mean.
Totally. And I saw where Hebrew shared the comment from Rain on the Plains. He quoted the verse from Rev 4:7, King James Bible, and her first beast was like a lion, and the second beast was like a calf. The third beast had a face of a man, and the fourth beast was a flying eagle.
That's the one from Revelation. We were talking about the one from, I believe it was Ezekiel earlier. I think
okay. Slightly different.
We were talking about both of them because I think they're pretty similar. Going on Ezekiel's wheels, the chariot, and then there's another listing of the four-faced creatures, but they face all different directions at the same time, so they don't have any reason to turn their head, but it's they're just different angels and stuff. That's why I just think that our vocabulary is that people are confusing angels with aliens or vice versa. But even with having alien interaction, people that interact with them, a third fell, and people need to recognize that and realize that what they're dealing with may not be what it may truly say I'm an angel, blah blah blah, but it won't tell you that it's one that fell from grace, and it's a rebellious angel. You know what I mean? It wants to be worshiped, but that's how you can tell if it wants you to worship it or whatever. Then you can kind of tell that, okay, hold on, you're one that's here to tempt or try to veer me off. If it's saying I will do X, Y, and Z for you, but you have to worship me. So it's wanting your life force, your energy, to keep it going and keep it in a status that it wants, and then it'll give you something in return. But there's good and bad in both, but we always have to remember that 2/3 did not fall. So there's 2/3 working on our behalf that are ministering to us and helping us along. And so, yeah, I just wanted to add that in there, that whether we're calling aliens of today, could possibly be the angels, we always need to take into account that 1/3 fell. So use discernment. Always use discernment.
Yep, and I brought it up before. I think another easy way to tell whether you're dealing with a good angel or a bad angel, for lack of better ways of putting it, a fallen or non-fallen, is whether it's going to do what you want it to do. Because like I said, we can't call one of the Father's angels. The Father's angels answer to the Father, period. You can't call them. You can't make them do what you want. You can't. They don't answer to us. They help us. They protect us. They surround us. They work with us. They stuff like that because the Father told them to. So an easy way to tell if whatever you're talking to is from the Father or fallen is see if it'll do what you want it to do. Because if it does what you want it to do, that ain't the Father's angel. Because the Father's angel does what the Father wants it to do, period. We have no say in what it does. It may do stuff with us and for us, but that's because he said to, not because we said to.
And what do you think about this too, Armor Up, is if it says that, it will be the intercessor between you and God, when that we already have that, and actually we have that bridge has already been gapped where we are able to go directly. We have that direct prayer line open. We don't need to go through an angel to, get to God. God will send his angels, just like you said, to help or to minister to us. But it's we don't need to go through that angel to get to God. God hears our prayers from right where we're at.
Absolutely. That was the whole point of Jesus. Everyone says, oh, he came to save us from our sins. Sure. That's a nice side effect. And I've said this and caught all kind of slack, and I don't care because it's the truth. Jesus didn't come just to save us from our sins. Jesus came to connect us back one-on-one with the Father, period. We now have straight access. Jesus is our mediator, and he's sitting right beside the Father. We don't pray to Gabriel or Michael or St. Peter or Mother Mary or Father Thomas or anybody else. We have direct access to the Father. That's the whole beautiful thing that Jesus did that no one ever talks about. That's what he came to do, to enable us to have access back to the Father. And then the Father will answer us many ways, mostly through the Spirit. Maybe he'll send an angel, but 99.9% of the time, Father answers us through the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. That's why we got it. That's our direct communication line. That's our lifeline to the Father, the Holy Spirit. It interprets what we're trying to say to him. It interprets what he's trying to say back to us. That's the Holy Spirit.
And see, then there's a difference between the Holy Spirit and an angel.
Absolutely, yes. The Holy Spirit is no angel. The Holy Spirit's
is
God.
God. It's of the Holy Trinity. It is in the Godhead.
Holy Spirit is basically the Father's will, from what I'm learning. Jesus is the Father's mouth, the Father's words. Father is the thought, the creation thought process, and the Spirit is his will. It carries out what he wants done. That's the way I look at it. But they're all what we call God. That's why I hate the term God. They're not the Father, but they are what we consider the term God. Father, Son, and Spirit are one, although they're not the same thing. It gets confusing, but it's just the way it is.
They're like they're three parts that make a whole, correct?
Right. They're just, like I said, the way I think of it, the way he showed me is we all have a mind, we all have a body, and we all have a spirit. We're all
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
that way too. We're all a Trinity also.
And
That's
when
what it
our spirit
being
leaves,
in his
we're not
image.
animated. We are not animated. The spirit leaves. We're not animated. And seeing my daughter, I knew that my daughter was not there anymore. She wasn't in that avatar, that body. You can't separate the three. If you separate one of it, it's no longer whole. You need all three.
Right. Yeah.
It makes sense to me because I saw it with my own eyes. Like I said, a lot of things that are so petty now is that, I saw that her spirit had left her body. Now one part of her had left. Now none of it was functioning. Her spirit went on. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I mean. But that body was useless. If the spirit's not flowing, then the body is just laying there. And it looked like she could open her eyes and talk to me. She looked that good. But there was no life in that body.
Yep, absolutely. And Rain on the Plane brings up a good point I want to cover there quick. Another way to look at it is the Father, Son, and Spirit are eternal. They're the only things that are eternal, that have always been and always will be. Everything else was created. The angels were created. We were created. Everything was created other than the Father, Son, and Spirit. They've always been. They're the only thing that's truly eternal. Now we get everlasting life, but we can't get eternal life because eternal means no beginning and no end. So the only thing eternal is the Father, Son, and Spirit. Everything else is created, including every angel. So the Spirit definitely isn't an angel because it was never created. It's always been. The Father's always had a will. The Father's always had Jesus. He's always had a word. He's always had his speech. They weren't created. They're part of eternity.
So when you say that, and don't, I mean, don't, I guess what I'm trying to say is pardon my ignorance, but the first thing that came to my mind was the spirit, like, the spirit inside me. Is that spirit a new spirit when I'm created, like when I'm born physically from my mom, or is my spirit been here, existed before I was actually born here on Earth?
Now, see,
When does my spirit initially exist? Is what I'm getting at.
that's a great debate, and I don't know because I can see both sides. Some say we're eternal because the Father says, I knew you before I knit you in the womb, which really don't mean we was eternal. It just means he knew what we was going to be before we were ever created. But some take it to mean that. I personally think, oh man, I don't know. It's sort of hard to describe. But I don't think, see, there's also people, and Rain mentioned it earlier, there's also channels out there that think we're the fallen, that we're the 1/3 that fell. I don't buy into that at all.
Oh, no. But they are amongst us. They are amongst us. Read the sidebar. That was something else that was captured from that place I was talking about. But I don't want to get back into that again, but read the sidebar. I was a little beside myself when I saw it. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, there's definitely fallen amongst us. No doubt. That's a given. We know they're among us. They got cast to earth. This is earth. Of course they're amongst us. I mean, that's just, we should know that. But what they teach is we are all the fallen. Everyone that's born is because we were one of the fallen and we're trying to earn our way back. I can't quite buy into all that. And I've heard it and I understand the reasoning and I looked into it. But personally, for me, it didn't resonate. I think we're all created unique at the time we're created, we hope. Man, it gets too deep to even try to get into at the moment.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to go there. I just it was the first thought that hit my mind was, when you said created, we were created. I'm just curious if I wasn't, but I'm ever, but I'm everlasting. But when was I? I'm just curious when the creation moment, the inception actually occurs. You know what I mean?
You mean when we become?
Like when our spirit actually is. Have we always existed since the moment he created everything, all the spirits at once, or is he consistently creating new spirits? Like tomorrow, whoever's going to be born is going to be a new spirit that's just getting created.
Well, can I field this one and then you can rebuttal it or back it up, armor up?
Sure.
But it said that, when God created the earth, it was perfect. And we were all amongst there clapping with joy when God created the earth. So obviously he's known us from the beginning. And are we the fallen? No. It even says in the Bible that you don't know when you're entertaining angels unaware. An angel can be somebody that is in human form. So they can come up and interact with you and you not know it. That's why it says to be kind and gracious to everyone, because you never know when you're entertaining angels. But the same can go for that the fallen, and they take human form also and are amongst us. That's why it says that we need to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. So we need to be wise enough with our discernment to know when we're dealing with a snake in the grass, or if we're dealing with somebody that is truly of the light. And discernment is so important, especially in the times that we're in now. I mean, there's so much with that can be done that is faked and manipulated. But at the same time, as our technology gets better, the fallen ones that have taken human form are having a hard time keeping their form because of our technology is getting, when it used to be a VHS camera or whatever that they used for television, they could hold their form better because of it ran slower and things like that. You wouldn't see the details. But now that we're digital and the speed is so much faster that in that split second, you can catch when they come out, what their true form is. If their true form is starting to show and bleed through. And that's why, discernment. I mean, I'm always these past few months it's been about discernment. So when you're listening to somebody and they're saying that we are all fallen trying to earn, they're talking law. And there is no law. When Christ sets you free, you're free indeed. We either believe him or we don't. We can't call ourselves a Christian and say that we only believe part of what Christ says. When Christ says, you're free, you're free. So to say that we're fallen trying to earn our way back in, we are human, we make mistakes. Okay. And yeah, that's like one big school, we're learning, but we're here to experience things that possibly we can't when we're in the other form, which like taste, touch, smell. I think they can have smell and love, but the experiences that we can have here, Earth is a hard school to get through because of the discernment that we need to have. But to say that we are all fallen trying to earn our way back into heaven means that we are back under law, and Christ said he did away with the law. And so if you've got the indwelling and you've been born from above, then why are you trying to keep the law that Christ himself said the law was just to show you that no one here is perfect. We all make mistakes. It's not to say that we're fallen. I mean, you just got to read the Bible with the Holy Spirit indwelling, and it gives you that new understanding, because it's layers and layers and layers that, some people read it at a surface level. At the surface level, it sounds like, God was some bloodthirsty, whatever. It's like a bipolar God. But if you read it with the spiritual discernment and have the Spirit in you, you realize that it is, to me, it's a beautiful book of the redemption of mankind, of giving us hope, of going, of heading back into our first estate, which was in the Garden of Eden. So, but that doesn't mean that we are all fallen and are fallen angels. We were created separately. We were like the pinnacle of God's creation, and the angels fell because of the love that God had for mankind. So don't fall into those kind of trappings. What do you have to say on that, Armor Up?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And to go back to the verses they were saying in the chat, he knew us before he knit us in our mother's womb. He knew us before the foundations of the earth. They all sound like, we can't just read that and think that means we were there just because he knew. Father knows the future. That don't mean the future is there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it don't mean that. Basically, we got to remember that our original, what the Father created originally, got corrupted. We're not fallen, but we're corrupted. We got corrupted by what the enemy did, by the tricks he played to them in the garden, basically. And again, I can't get super deep into it. There's all kinds of theories. But either way, we know we got corrupted. I think, to get back to Saji's original question, I think that the life, the thing that gives us life, we know is the Spirit. He breathed the Spirit. That's what gives us animation. That's what gives us life. I think we're all part, basically, man, like I said, how to describe it? Every life is a little piece of the original Spirit, because that's what gives it life. But that little piece of the original Spirit got corrupted by the enemy. That's why we need the Holy Spirit to come in and connect with that original little piece of Spirit to bring us back whole again. You know what I'm trying to get at? So
I'm following you.
Eternal, but it wasn't eternally us. It was eternally part of the Father. It becomes us when we're born. The Father gives us a little piece of life. A little piece of it.
I'm with you. That makes sense. I can relate to that.
Before it became Ron. You know what I mean? It was just another little piece of the Father. It wasn't Ron. It wasn't Michelle. It wasn't Saji or Hebrew. It was just a piece of the Father. Then it became. That's why he knew us before we were knit. He knew he was going to give that little piece of himself to that essence, to that being, to that baby. That's why he knew us before the foundations of the world. He already knows that we're going to be born. He already knows everything. That's how he knew us. It don't mean we as a being existed with thoughts and concepts. Just the life force of us existed.
I get it. It makes sense. You did a good job explaining it. But that part was just kind of curious to me, because it's one of the, and I realize it's kind of an age-old philosophical question, but that's the part that I really was curious about the most. But thank you for doing your best to explain it to me.
And check this out, though. God is eternal. He's infinite. And with what Armor was saying, the very essence, that little divine spark, that breath of life comes from God Almighty, source, creator of all. So yeah, in a sense, you were with him always. But were you were you when you became born here, but you were always in the Father. A lot of people call him the Father, but some people call him Source. I don't know, if there's actually a sex that is assigned to God Almighty. I don't. That it's really not important. But so you can. This is probably going way too deep. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know what you're trying to do.
It's fine. It's fine. It's probably something that Armor Up when we talk offline, we'll probably get into these deep, and that's we can't be on for several hours though.
No, that's all right, man. Hey, let me tell you
No,
something.
not here, He-Man. I mean, when I talk to him after about what I want to talk to him about, because time slips away from me when I talk to him. It'll be like 6 hours later, and
Wow.
oh my God, yeah. So
Yeah, sometimes it goes for a while.
it does. It's like whoops.
But I'll tell you what, though. I'm getting fed here today, brother and sister. I'm telling you, man. You guys are feeding me some good food here today, man. I'm learning a lot. And Sadju, you've been asking some deep questions, brother. You've been asking all the good questions. I'm telling you, I just feel like I've just been sitting back, keeping quiet, and learning. I feel like that's what I'm here to do today, is to learn. I'm getting educated here today, man.
Cool. Yeah, and Alone One brings up a good point. They say if we were fallen angels, it'd be in our nature. Evil would be in our nature. But unfortunately, it is sort of in our nature because of the fall. Not because we're fallen, but because we gave our authority over to the fallen. So we are we do naturally lean towards sin because of the fallen nature, not because we're fallen angels. Our spirit got corrupted. It all got corrupted. It all got messed up. That's the whole point of Jesus coming back.
There was a judgment placed, and they're not redeemable. So when you got to, if you want to put it in like a simpler way of looking at it, we have hope. We have redemption. We have the Holy Spirit indwelling. We have these gifts that are given to us through grace, not from works. And the fallen are not redeemable. They've been cast to the earth, and they don't have a chance of being restored into the heavenlies. So that's just something to think about, and what I was veering into is that there is some pretty pronounced teachings out there that are false, that we are all fallen angels and so I was touching on that because it came up in the chat also, because that's a false teaching. If when God made that declaration that he sees all, just like Armor Up said, he's outside of time, so he can see every point of time all at the same time. Everything is a now moment for him, no matter if it's like 2,000 years for us. He sees it in a moment. So he knew you before you were born, because he can see all things in the now, in the future, in the past, all at the same time. God is God. But to say that, we're fallen angels, there was in the very beginning of the Bible, they went to Enoch and had him petition God. There was a proclamation made. They're not redeemable. And we are. So that's an easy way to discern, whether or not that's a true teaching or not. We have the fallen nature because we're in a fallen world, but that doesn't mean we have no hope. We still have hope. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Although I must say I don't know if they're redeemable or not. All it says is they're being held for final judgment. So I won't go so far as to say Father won't forgive them, or there may not be something else, some way. I don't know. I won't say they're not redeemable, because I think the Father can redeem whoever he wants. But I know what you're saying. But there really is nowhere where it says they're not redeemable. It just says they're going to face a final judgment. They're awaiting the final judgment just like the rest of us. But I don't know. I have hope that the Father has plans for them too. Who knows?
Well, it was that they will no longer be able to deceive the nations anymore. He's gonna, they're gonna have their one last tada, okay, and then they will never be able to tempt or do anything to mankind again.
Oh, absolutely.
That would mean to me that they will become nothing. They're not the same as us. They're just like Armrub said earlier. They're not the same as us. We were made differently, and we were like not to use this word like, because they say Eve ate the apple, but we are the apple of God's eye. I mean, we are the pinnacle of his creation. He loves us so much. And so, we have that hope, we have that grace, we have, where he comes down, and walked amongst us to show us that hope. And it's not under law. It's not under anything we do. It's under grace. Now, that doesn't mean we can go around acting like a monster and treating each other wrong. When you get the born from above, your entire nature changes, and so does your understanding of one another. It's just it's amazing revelations that we get given to us as gifts, and it's a beautiful thing. So yeah.
All right. Well, hey guys, I hate to be the dark cloud on a sunshiny day, but I think it's just about time to wrap things up. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I got to take my dog to the vet, so I'm gonna have to go off here in a few anyway. So perfect timing.
I mean, we've only been on for 3 hours. I mean, come on, man.
Oh, is that all? Oh, maybe we should do another 48 minutes.
Holy moly, see, that's what I'm talking about. Time slipped away, because remember I told you my clock said 12, and now it says that it's 2. Oh, time goes by so fast. Hey, when we get off of here, I'll get with you on that other, and we'll chat for a few minutes. And then what time do you have to take your dog to the vet? How much time do you have? That way we won't stay on forever, because we'll be under a time restraint.
Yeah, I probably only got like 15 minutes or so.
Okay, good. That works.
All right, well, go ahead and wrap her up there, Hero. Close out the show.
All right, let's give this room one final shout out, because I'll tell you what, I think they deserve it. Let's see here. From the very beginning, we had, I know Mr. Jocko was in the house. We have Armor Up was in here. Well, he's here right now. Awake and Active was here. Rain on the Plains. Let's see if I'm saying this name correctly. Bubble Elvis.
Bub
Elvis.
All right. Well, you guys just said it. Bubbavis, right?
It is 2
Right,
words. Bub Elvis. Like
Did
Elvis.
you say Elvis, like Elvis Presley?
Okay. Bub Elvis. Right.
You got it.
All right. And let's see here. Who am I missing? Alone One. The Things You Forgot. And let me scroll down. I think that's it, guys. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry, but we've been here for a while, so
I think we had Oiler Greg here for a moment, and I think that's the only one I can remember that you didn't mention.
oh, Connie Joe Wood was here. And did I mention Rain on the Plains?
Well, you did now.
Okay. And Go Kart Bob. And I think I've got everyone now. So there you go. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I'll let you guys go ahead and get in your final thoughts.
I don't have anything to add. I think it was a great show. I'm glad everybody who showed up. I thank Michelle for being a guest today, and Armor for popping in here as well. And that's about all I have.
We had two really great guests here today. Thank you for joining us, Michelle.
Thank you for the spontaneous invite. Appreciate it. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy your guys' company. And don't forget to go check out Dare to Question.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget about him.
Yep, I got it open. I'm going to check it out later today.
Good. Subscribe to him. And then when he goes live, then you can check him out. Yeah. You guys will like him. And maybe you can have him come on over here and chat with you guys. And he's a very nice man. You'll like him.
I got to get that back on the... I went to the channel. I just forgot the sub.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to him here in a little bit. He's needing some... Well, it doesn't matter what he needs. But when I talk to him, I'll bring up your channel, make sure that he subs over here. And so that way you guys can start interacting and getting to know him.
That sounds good. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And Armor Up, did you have any last words?
Nope, I think I yacked enough. Just take some time, get with the father, talk to him a bit, change your life. It's pretty awesome.
And I hope nothing serious is wrong with your dog.
Nah, it's just she's due for her shots.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, from everyone here at the Hebrew channel, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and I'd like to thank all of our special guests for being here. And until next time, we will see you guys. Oh, yeah. What is today? Monday? Yeah, check out the Armor Up's channel for Wednesday Word, and check out Dan's channel tonight, Scare Performance, for Mandela Monday. And Michelle, do you have anything going on this week? Do you want to plug?
No, I'm a spontaneous type of gal. I do have a couple guests that will be coming on soon, but I take things one day at a time, and it is what it is. And but so I do have a few things in the works, but no rush. But make sure that you're keeping up and hit that notify bell, because you never know what I'm going to do. Because I don't.
All right. Well, there we go. So from everyone here at the Hebrew channel, this is Hebrew 77 saying good night, everybody. Have a good day. If that made sense. I said good night. I meant to say, good day. Oh,
Good day.